One word. The entire Western Front balanced on it. Break time 600 men. 15,000 Americans. Surrounded. Running out of everything. 7 German officers. 1 written demand. 1 American reply. The kill chain. December 22. 7 German officers stood at the perimeter. Here at the kill chain, we dissect decisions, not battles. Bastogne was 7 roads. Whoever held it controlled the Ardennes. Hitler called it Wacht am Rhein, watch on the Rhine. The Wacht am Rhein deception worked. Allied reconnaissance found nothing. The Ardennes was classified a ghost front. Rest area, safe. 2 green divisions, 1 exhausted, all under strength. Bletchley Park had been reading German orders for 3 years. Their new OTA went silent. 2 weeks before the attack, the Germans had imposed total radio silence across every unit. 410 men moved into position without transmitting once. Allied meteorologists forecast clear skies. German forecasters did not. German forecasters predicted this fog. Allied meteorologists did not. The 8th Corps after-action report documented 14 intelligence failures. General Bradley's aide wrote, "The general was incredulous. He kept saying the force being reported did not exist. He had 20,000 reports. He dismissed them all. What strikes us, the warning signs were explicit. A Belgian resistance report reached SHAEF. Filed. Ignored. First Army intelligence analysts warned of armor concentrations. Dismissed. December 16, 5:30. German artillery erupted across 80 miles. The 28th Division's tactical retreat bought Bastogne critical time. Their fighting delay bought Bastogne critical hours to reinforce. Eisenhower called an emergency conference at Verdun. December 19. Every general at that table expected Eisenhower to authorize withdrawal. Eisenhower called it an opportunity. The room fell silent. The question was no longer whether to hold, only how. Troy Middleton commanded the 8th Corps. Bastogne was his call. His orders, hold Bastogne, or the entire sector collapsed. The 100 and honest airborne reached Bastogne December 18. No artillery. Their artillery was captured in earlier fighting. They knew it. Brig. General McAuliffe took acting command. Division CO was away. Fog of war encirclement completed. December 21. All sides. Temperature dropped to -20 Fahrenheit. No winter gear issued. The division surgeon ran out of morphine by December 20. Fog locked every Allied aircraft on the ground. Day 6. Inside Bastogne, McAuliffe ordered rationing at 1/3 normal. While Lutwitz needed Bastogne, his entire advance stalled. Von Manteuffel told Liddell Hart. Bastogne was the cork. Von Rundstedt's private letters reveal he knew it was overextended. The attrition of fuel proved fatal. Antwerp was always unreachable. 3 choices. Which would you take, with Bastogne blocking you? Bypass Bastogne and risk a stranglehold from the rear. Storm the perimeter. Take the town by force. Enormous cost. Demand surrender. Preserve the advance. Save the timetable. They chose the demand. December 22, 9:30. White flag. The American sergeant who received them said they seemed apologetic. The demand reached McAuliffe at 11:30. He read it. Laughed. The demand called the position hopeless. The assessment was accurate. His staff pressed in for a proper reply. McAuliffe shrugged. What I said first is good enough. 1 word. The National Archives holds the original. It reads, nuts. The German officers asked the colonel, what does this mean? The colonel explained, it means go to hell. The memoir of the German officer carrying the demand survives. No word for this in German. They called it arrogance. Von Manteuffel ordered the final assault on Bastogne. December 23. That morning the weather broke. Clear skies over the Ardennes. C-47 transport aircraft filled the corridor above Bastogne. Ammunition, morphine, rations. The 100 Ardennes had lasted on nothing. P-47s hit German armor. 57 tanks destroyed in 2 days. The December 24-25 assault was repulsed. The perimeter held. The question now was Patton. 72 hours. Was it possible? At Verdun, Patton had already issued the warning order. Eisenhower was astonished. He expected objections, not preparation. 250 zero men. 133 zero vehicles. 6 supply lines. 75 miles north. Every military planner said it was impossible. Patton drove anyway. The Third Army staff had 3 contingency plans prepared. Patton called it simply reversing the direction of attack. The logistics were not simple. Nothing about it was simple. 6 fuel lines reversed direction. In winter. On ice. The 4th Armored Division led the relief column northward. West Point still studies this reorientation as the standard. Liddell Hart interviewed the German commanders after the war. Von Manteuffel, the most impressive operational move of the war. The source quality here is exceptional, primary testimony, not myth. But the Patton myth obscures a harder truth. Costly advance. The 4th Armored lost 40% of its tanks in relief. The flanking drive cost 40% of 4th Armored's tanks. At 16:45 on December 26, contact was established. The corridor was 3 tanks wide, barely enough, it held. The 100 honest soldiers who met the 4th Armored wept. Ambrose recorded them. We didn't think help was coming. On the northern shoulder, Camfruit Paper had driven 130 miles. Piper's spearhead reached L'Église, then ran out of fuel. Piper's Montmedy ambush, 84 American POWs shot December 17. The Malmedy Massacre Tribunal transcripts are preserved at Nuremberg archives. 84 men shot in a field. Physical evidence confirmed it. Piper escaped on foot. 800 survivors. Armor abandoned. The battle would grind 5 more weeks. The Bulge held. German casualties 100-0. American casualties 75-0. Wehrmacht reserves spent. The German strategic reserve was destroyed in 6 weeks. Gone. Eisenhower's after-battle report, classified until 1956, considered firing Bradley. Churchill talked him out of it. Their conversation is documented. Montgomery's January 7 press conference nearly ended the Allied coalition. He implied American forces had been saved by British command. Eisenhower drafted his resignation rather than continue working with Montgomery. Churchill intervened personally. The coalition held, barely. The sources disagree on what Churchill said. 3 accounts exist: Eisenhower's memoir, Churchill's diary, Montgomery's aide memoir. All differ. Bastogne's breakthrough corridor, 3 tanks wide, December 26. January 25, 1945. The Bulge was officially over. The Allied line returned to December 15 positions, 6 weeks. The German attack failed. What precisely did it cost? The Allied advance into Germany was delayed by 6 weeks. It gave Soviet forces additional time to advance eastward. The Bulge's strategic impact outlasted the battle by decades. At 16:45 on December 26, the 4th Armored made contact. 7 days. No resupply, no air support. Minus 20 degrees. The 100 and honest held. The German advance died at Bastogne's junction. Hitler's Antwerp objective was never possible. Von Rundstedt knew it. The fuel math was fatal before the first tank crossed. The Wehrmacht's last strategic reserve was spent in the Ardennes. Germany had no mobile reserves left for the Allied advance. In our assessment, Bastogne was the hinge of the war. The 107 days brought the Allies operational recovery time. Without the hold, Patton's relief had nothing to relieve. This disaster directly rewrote U.S. Army operational doctrine. Lease call Stella. Ask her to active without intelligence. Listen to. UL terror silence is not absence of threat. Lesson 3. Contingency planning must precede orders, not follow them. These lessons entered Army planning doctrine in 1946. The Malmedy murders were prosecuted, Piper convicted, sentenced to death. The sentence was commuted. He was released in 1956. The historical record on the Bulge contains deliberate gaps. The NSA held declassified Ardennes intercepts until 2010. What remains unreleased? Why UL Tira failed so completely? McAuliffe's one-word reply was declared a national historic artifact. Band of Brothers brought Bastogne to a new generation. But the mini-series compressed the timeline. The siege was longer. The actual experience was 6 days of near-complete isolation. Survivors' testimonies compiled by Ambrose capture the actual register. Not heroic exhilaration, grinding cold, numbness. The calendar as enemy. On January 25, 1945, the salient was eliminated. Germany had 85 days remaining before unconditional surrender. The Wehrmacht that crossed on December 16 no longer existed. Reserves gone. Fuel gone. Commanders knew the war was lost. McAuliffe's one word was tactical calculus, not posturing. Surrender abandoned the road junction. Refusal kept it. Simple logic. Right intelligence on the town. Wrong intelligence on the men. The 100 and honest was understrength. Undersupplied. Without artillery. They held. The after-action report, command decision, not numbers, decided this battle. What the archive cannot tell us, what McAuliffe actually felt. His memoir says he barely remembers it. He was exhausted. History remembers the word. He remembered the cold. Full breakdown in the description. Was this victory inevitable? 3,000 Americans held Bastogne and never came home. Subscribe.